That's right, everybody. Welcome to another casual podcast. Had to, had to start it off with a shout out to the one and only, the legendary Betty White. Rest in peace. If you haven't heard by now, today, I believe today she passed, which is very sad, which is very unfortunate. Not so much like it was a tragedy because she was 99, but she was so close, and it seemed like she was so excited about her 100th birthday. And it it's not like one day is more special than the other, but there's just something about New Year's when it's close, or if it's close to your birthday, all these type of things just makes it feel a little bit yucky. So we just want to say thank you, Betty White, for all that you've done, all the laughs you've given us, all the memories, all the memes, everything. I just love the fact that she became such a star in her later years, and I think I just wish that for so many people. I wish for so many people to be appreciated in their later years. I mean, really, just appreciate them all the way through. But I'm happy that in her latter years she was the mega rock star that she was, and she will be missed. Um, and I hope that we even though she's not going to be there with us, I hope that they still decide to celebrate her on her actual birthday. So again, rest in peace, Betty White. So it is the final stream of the year. It's the final podcast of the year. And also, let me just stop and just take a minute to say this. Thank you for watching. This is the Casual Podcast. I am Brian Girley, the Casual Brian, and we are coming to you live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. YouTube, please don't give me a copyright strike. Come on, it was giving a shout out to Betty White. If you're not following, please make today the day that to follow us on YouTube. I believe you follow and subscribe. Follow where you need to follow, subscribe where you need to subscribe. You know what it is, you know where it is. Do what you need to do. I'm wondering, it's on the right side. um so yeah, it's the end of the year, and it's been a blast. I'm really, really enjoying doing the podcast. I'm enjoying the feedback I'm getting. I'm enjoying talking to people. Again, I would like to invite you to not wait until you see me or talk to me and tell me about the podcast. Please jump in, leave some comments, whether you're watching it on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, wherever you're watching it from. Just go ahead and drop those comments so that we can know that you're there and we can interact, we can engage. I love to interact. Today I was dropping some hot takes. I had a thought. I'm gonna talk about this thought because it's interesting to me. Um, Today I made let me get the post up because I want to be fair in the actual post that I wrote, because I got quite a bit. It got quite a bit of a response. Most of the response was it's not good or bad. I just thought, okay, I see what they're saying, but some of it I did take a little bit of exception. But I'm going to get into it. I'm going to get into it right now. So if you were one of the people that commented, I'm not going to say anyone's name. Uh, I'm going to do my best to not address anyone's specific comment, but just kind of talk about like what I felt were the responses. So here's the post. Oh, you know what? I was gonna say I could share it, but I feel like if I shared it, it'd have people's names and stuff. So the post is agnostic. How can God do this? Atheist. How can God do this? Christian. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. And so again, with agnostic, it was how can God do this? Question mark. Atheist, how can God do this? Period. And Christian, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. So let me start by the thought I was having and the thought I was trying to convey. I think that with respect to God or unanswerable questions, things that people would say we can't know or we don't understand, the atheist or the agnostic approach is that we don't know. And there's really no way we can know. And the atheist approach is we don't know, but I know that it's not God. I've heard some other perspectives. That's still how I perceive their approach to be. One rebuttal was that it's not that they know that there is no God, is that I can't know and they can't know that there is no God. So we both can't know. But in general, they're not really thinking about God at all, which I have a hard time believing. Just on the simple, now I understand the thought that most agnostic and atheist people are not thinking about God in their day-to-day life. I believe that. I believe that 100%. But the idea that the concept, the concept or the thought of God never crosses their mind, I don't believe it. And this is why I don't believe it. When you see a conservative person that is basing a lot of their beliefs, their conservative beliefs on being uh, a Christian, then the response you have to that is also, even though it's primarily a response to that person, is also a response to religion, whether it be organized religion, whether it be specific to um, Christianity, whatever it is. The thought of God is entering your mind there, because it's either God should not have anything to do with what we're doing right now. You are This is the problem with God and organized religion. You're considering God. Okay. And I think that we can have an honest discussion and say, yes, while you are not on a daily basis considering whether there is God or not, to have to say that you never consider God. And another thing is, I've seen people be critical of organized religion and Christianity and Christians and preachers and prosperity preachers and people that they just don't agree with. So the idea is, what are you basing that disagreement on? You've considered it. You've considered God. And it's okay. I still think your point of that you don't think about God on a daily basis still stands. But you have to admit that you at times consider God. If just for that one moment where where you decided to yourself, do I believe there's a God, or do I not believe that there's a God? Now, again, the main point I was trying to make is a posture and how we respond to the question of higher powers, God, deities, however you want to think about it. And I think, and I still believe that the post stands up. I do think one of my friends, he gave another way of saying it, and I think that the way he said it, uh, I don't want to say it's less offensive. I think that it makes it more palatable for people. So let me get it up. So this is how he would have worded it. I believe that he himself is agnostic. Agnostic. I don't know if there is a God who can do this. Atheist. I don't believe there is a God. And Christians, God did this because the Bible says he can. So obviously I took exception to the last part. I like, man, how are you going to come in hot on a post and then essentially do the same thing that you're criticizing, which he went back and he talked. And it's like this idea that if you're not a part of something, you can't give it critique. I don't understand that at all. I don't understand that at all. And it's not even and I think that the issue was the people that are atheists and agnostic felt that it was a critique when it was not meant to be a critique at all. It was meant to speak specifically to Christians. if if you are someone who struggles with some things like this pandemic, to be a Christian is to be someone who says, I don't understand everything, but I have a belief in something and I'm going to hold on to that something and I'm going to believe in that something. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Another part of the debate, the discussion, was that they don't like to be, I don't I just don't feel like it was an oversimplification. It was not a thesis. It was not meant to be a full explanation. It was meant to get a point across. And I'm struggling to understand why it is that people who seem to not who say they don't believe in something have such an issue with with this sense, this knowledge. I know somebody I know I not somebody. I know a lot of people that are agnostic. And I can tell you they are not thinking about God on a daily basis. Doesn't cross their mind, at all. And the idea of them being wrong doesn't bother them because they're not agreeing with that idea. They don't believe that that's real. So it doesn't bother them at all. Even the notion of hell doesn't bother them because they're like, I don't believe in that. So I'm just wondering though, why is it that some people feel the need or feel so attacked by this? And it's an honest question. I don't feel any kind of issue with like any other religion that believes that my religion is wrong, because it's a and this is another part that kind of bothers me. Not not another part that bothers, this part specifically bothers me. Let me be very, very impeccable with my speech, clear with my speech. My main issue with atheists and agnostics is that they operate as if what they are operating in is fact. This is fact. I know that this is true, or this cannot be known. To say that something cannot be known is to imply that you have the ultimate truth because you know it. So how can something not be known, but somehow you know that it can't be known? You're basically saying that there can be no ultimate truth, but to say that statement, you yourself have to have ultimate truth. So it's a paradox. Whereas I'm saying I don't know everything or understand everything, but I do have something that I believe in. And this is another thing that drives me crazy. Whether you consider yourself to be religious or whether you don't consider yourself to be religious, you believe in something. You have faith in something, whether that's you, whether that's science, whether that's whatever it is. You have faith in science in something. And the people who have faith in science, as opposed to people, and these, just because you have faith in science doesn't mean you can't have faith in religion. There are people who believe in both. But the people who tend to think that their faith in science, they won't call it faith, but their belief in science is different. Let me explain something to you. You have no knowledge outside of someone explaining something to you and then you choosing to believe in that. You Anything that you say is proven and is factual in science requires the belief. Someone told it to you, someone explained a system of proving it, and you put your faith in that system because it made sense to you. So how are you different than any other person who puts their faith in something else? We're all putting our faith in something. Some things. We're there's so much faith in everyday life that we don't even realize how much faith it takes to live. When you get on a plane, you have faith in that pilot. You have faith in everybody that worked on that plane. You weren't there to examine it. You don't know how that pilot's feeling that day, but you have faith. So I feel like sometimes religion gets a bad racket. Now, religious people, you don't make it easy on everybody. Sometimes religion makes it harder on themselves. So it's not to say that religion doesn't have its flaws, but hey, here's a news flash. Everyone has their flaws. Everyone has their flaws because we're not perfect. We're imperfect people giving it the best go we can. Some of us are not giving it the best. Some people are not trying. You're doing a bad job, and all those people know who they are. Actually, most of them don't know who they are. But it's just, it's an interesting thing. I'm just I think it's very important. A lot of people ask me, Brian, why do you let people leave comments on your page? Why do you like not block certain people? The problem we're having is that we don't talk to each other anymore. We just talk about each other. So one thing that I do sometimes, if I find that everybody in the room is saying the same thing, I will try to consider the other side, just so we don't become an echo chamber. Because I think that echo chambers can be dangerous. I think that sometimes there is an apparent truth, and we can all speak on that. But you don't want to be too extreme in that either, to where it's us versus them. And everything that the other side says and does is wrong. They're the boogeyman or woman, and they're out to get us. I try to avoid that. I got caught up in that at the beginning of the pandemic. I was tight too. I was angry. I was upset. I was like, these people are doing these things wrong to hurt me and the people I love. And that's not the case. Yes, some of the people don't care. They just don't care though. That's what it is. They don't care about if I'm okay or if I'm not. They just want to live their life. You know? That's, you can decide for yourself if you think that's right or wrong, or that's a good way to live or not, but that's what it is. People just want to live how they want to live. They want to go to the bar. They want to go to the club. They want to go to their football games, I mean, Omicron is going crazy. And here's a criticism of New York. They're still having that New Year's ceremony. There is no way you can justify having that New Year's Eve ceremony. The last number I saw was, I believe, 81,000 people testing positive. Come on now. The country, 500,000. I think the thought is it's not as severe, but man, you're basically pushing us into a lockdown. If everyone's sick, even if you cut it down to 5 days, that's still 5 days that people can't come into work. And if we get to like 1 million people a day, but what is the solution? This is another side of it. We like to criticize. What is the solution? I don't know, man. I think this one's kind of tough. Not kind of, it's very tough. It's very difficult. Logistically, I don't see what anyone can do, because everyone can't just stay home. Some people have to go out to work. Some people have to do something. And if those people are out, then they can still spread. So what do you do? Well, I think that what we could have done is got vaccinated. I'm a little frustrated with Florida, because people in Florida are starting to panic a little bit. And it's like, why are you panicking now? Why didn't you just take it seriously before? I don't understand the rush for test and wanting to be tested. Where was that energy before? That I used to think it was my generation, but I'm wondering if it's just when your country gets to a place where they're complacent, they're comfortable, and they just don't think that bad things can happen to them. Because we react. That's what our country is. We react to everything. We don't vote, and then we complain about the politicians that are in office. We don't address anything, and then we just complain about what happens. Everything is just sit, react, and complain. Sit, react, complain, and cancel. That's all we do. So it's like, it's frustrating. I think where we are now, we have to kind of stay the course and hopefully not too many people will get sick. Now, there is something that we can do. We could scale back certain things. We could cancel certain things. I don't think that the college bowl games are going to be great. It's a lot of people. It's just you just have to be realistic. You have to be realistic. You have to be practical. This thing spreads easy, so can have big events. When I first came to Florida, Omicron wasn't blowing up in Florida yet, so I was able to train. I trained 2 weeks at the gym. I'm boosted, so I was around unvaccinated people. Wasn't worried at all. Felt like my vaccine would do the job that they intended to do, and it did. I didn't get sick. I feel fine. I feel good. I don't feel great. I feel sore because I played basketball yesterday, and let me tell you something. I should have been stretching. I should have took some laps, jogged. I should have done something. I should have eaten something. I should have brought Gatorade, what is it? Orange slices, something, man. It was not good. It was not good. I don't know what I was thinking. I know, actually, I do know what I was thinking. I was thinking I'm 23 and I can do like I did in college and just wake up and go to the gym and play basketball for 3 hours and be fine. That was not my testimony. That is not my testimony. So yeah, man, it's just, interesting stuff. It's interesting stuff. I think it's important though that we always have conversation, honest conversation. It's the reason why I love Joe Rogan. I'll still say I love Joe Rogan. I'm not happy with Joe right now. I think he had a very bad 2021 for what he was saying. But I'm not gonna throw him out because of one bad year. I think see, like, I think Joe is honestly like moderate, right in the center. He goes based on the issue. Not like Tim Pool. Tim Pool is clearly a conservative pretending to be a liberal. He's one of the worst. He is one of the worst, man. I don't care if you're Candace Owens. I don't care if you're Ted Cruz. I don't care who you are. Just be honest. Don't pretend like you're a liberal and then only just destroy the Democratic Party and just preach liberal I'm sorry, conservative uh points. I don't like that. I detest that. Be straight up, be honest. Don't try to deceive people, which I think he does. I think Tim Pool is a snake. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing, and he's dangerous. I think Candace and Ben, I think Candace, not Ben so much. Ben's another person that I enjoy some of what he says. I don't agree with any of what he says, but I enjoy some of it. Make a point. Make a point. Whether I agree with it or I disagree with it, I'm here for it. We are a diverse group of people. We have different perspectives. We grew up different. We were brought up different. We have different morals. So it makes sense that we would feel differently about things, but make a point. You know what I mean? I can enjoy a good point. I don't think Candace makes any points. I don't think Candace is trying to make any points. I think Candace is trying to stir people up, make people get angry, make people click on her stuff, buy her stuff, push her husband's new platform, which is garbage. I'm not even going to say what it is. And I bet most people don't even know what it is. So, you know, but make a point. I think some of the stuff that Ben says is interesting. Another guy I'm not a big fan of is the Change My Mind guy. I think it's David Crowder. I don't he's not having conversation. I admire conversation, honest conversation with differing perspectives. I think that gives us the best final answer. You know what I mean? And I don't mean, and when I say differing thoughts of view, I don't mean that we have to change. You know what I mean? Like, or come to a consensus. It's just I think it's cool to share different thoughts, to learn from each other, learn more about the perspective. I I think it's good to hear a person who's agnostic and explain why are they agnostic? What brought them to that decision? I don't think we have to come to an agreement. you know, I'm not, but I think that there is value from that conversation. Just my thought, you know what I mean? I think that we live in a diverse country, and so to pretend like we're not in a diverse country doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. Also, if you haven't figured out, this is the last stream of the year, so we're going in. We're going in, and we're going in for a minute. We're gonna well, what is it? What is it? Where's that quote? We're gonna talk until it feels right in my up here. I think that's Wedding Crashers. I think we can all agree that Wedding Crashers is top five. Any movie. It doesn't have to be comedy. It's just top five. Just just a perfect movie. I don't know if I think I've met one person who doesn't like Wedding Crashers. How can you not like Wedding Crashers? It's hilarious. I recently met someone. They said they don't like Will Ferrell. Now I get not liking all his movies. Some of them are, they're awful. But that's the beauty of Will Ferrell. I think there's something Maria Schneider, a jazz composer, she was talking about you have to put out bad to get to great. If you only put out good and you kind of master the safe and the good, then you won't put out bad stuff, but you won't ever put out anything that's great because because to get to great, you have to be okay with reaching. And when you reach for something further, something that might be like a little outside of where you are right now, you're going to miss, you know? That's my problem with a lot of jazz music. It all sounds good. And good is boring, you know? I don't know. I'm sorry if that's offensive, but it's just good is boring. I don't I don't want to work all day and then listen to something that's good. I'd rather hear bad than good. Because at least in bad, there's probably going to be a moment of tension where I'm wondering, is this going to get better? What are they working towards? What is this? Where are they going with this? Oh, they didn't get there. At least I had a ride, you know? Good is a roller coaster that just goes straight through. That's the whole ride, just straight through and fast. It's like, no, man, I need some ups and downs. I need you to go for something. But people are afraid to go for things. People are afraid of failure. And that's why I think the best thing that can happen to anybody is to fail. Oh, and everyone's like, I know people are looking at me like, that's crazy. No, no. I think that everyone has this idea that if you fail, it's over and it's done. You get one shot and it's over. No, man. You get multiple shots. As long as you keep living, you got shots. As long as you're alive, you can create a new path. You can pivot. The fear of failure. I think the fear of failure is 100 times worse than failure because you're just sitting there not doing anything. So essentially, you failed and you're sitting there afraid. Try it, man. Who knows what you're going to get in the process of trying? You might find, something along the way. I think in all seriousness, I do think more people need to embrace failure and understand that failure is not the end, but it's just simply a part of trying new things, learning new things. Another thing that people need to embrace is being bad at something. I am terrible at Spanish, terrible at it. But if I want to get good, I need to spend more time being terrible, and I'll be less terrible, and I'll continue to get better, and I'll continue to get better, and all the bad and all the uncomfortableness will go away. Same with my jujitsu. I was worse, or I was bad when I started. Now I'm not as bad, and the more time I spend, the better I'll get. And if I really want to get better, what I have to do is find those uncomfortable places, those places where I'm not that good, and spend time there. I have a problem. I think this applies to a lot of people. In jujitsu, whenever I hit an uncomfortable spot, I immediately go to the place that I'm strong at, and I don't stay in that uncomfortable spot. And so you know what happens? That that part where I'm not good stays not good. That part where I'm lacking, where I have holes, they stay there. That's the only way to get better at something is to not just spend the majority of your time in the good places, the places where you feel great and comfortable. It's to spend time where you feel uncomfortable. Because the reason why you're uncomfortable is that you're not good there. You're not good there. If you're a person that wants or aspires to speak to people, then every day you need to speak, especially if you feel uncomfortable. There's no magic sauce. Just do it. And then it doesn't feel as uncomfortable. Yeah, man. Fear. I put a post up 2 days ago, I believe, about fear. That's the one thing that I want to really eliminate where I can and decrease where I can. Fear. I deal with a lot of fear. And when I say fear, I'm not just talking about when I get in a plane and I'm nervous as I'm flying. I'm afraid as I'm flying. I'm talking about when I get an email. I always think that it's going to be something bad. I get afraid to look at my email because I'm afraid that something's going to happen. One of my clients is going to be angry and they're going to want to leave. I used to be afraid to look at my bank account because when I was younger, I didn't keep that good of record of what I was spending. And so I would, there'd be a couple of weeks in between when I check and I'd get that surprise. That surprise your account is overdrawn. It's so silly. I think about it now and it's just so silly. But that's how I approach a lot of things in life. I just try to avoid them. And I'm getting better. As I've grown, I'm better at not avoiding things that could possibly be bad. And here's another thing. Why am I imagining them as possibly bad? Why not imagine that the client saying, "Hey, you're doing a great job. We want to give you a raise." Or, an email and someone saying, "Hey, we would like to have you as we would like to be one of your clients." I see messages online and I think the worst. Instead of thinking, "Oh, maybe the person is really enjoying a post that I made or something." I'm just really trying to get over being afraid and just living afraid and speaking fear. And it's a slow process, but it's a process nonetheless that you can make adjustments on if you're intentional about it. So when I notice that I'm being afraid, I lean into it. This year, I'm leaning into flying, which is why it was important for me to get silver status. Uh, I think that for me, just I have to make peace with flying. I do better. I do better. I do better, and then sometimes it's not as easy. But I will say, going to the lounge first, chilling out in the lounge, is helped me. When I get on the plane, I'm generally in a good place. I feel good, feel relaxed. Um, you know, and that's good. Trying to keep it going, trying to do more of that. Trying to be more, you know, I don't want to say like I don't want to say that I'm trying to be more offensive because I'm not. But I'm trying to worry less about being offensive if I'm not trying to be offensive. Because unfortunately, where we live and the society we're in, people are just going to be offended, man. And you can't pull your punches. You can't not say truth, you know? The truth is the truth. If it's what you believe is truth, I should say that. I'm not saying your truth or I'm speaking my truth. I'm saying that what I believe is truth. I'm speaking what I believe is true. And I'm also considering, love, meaning I'm saying things in love, always considering, then it's okay. People are just going to be offended. And on the note of people being offended, let's just clear this up, okay? The order is Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant. It is what it is. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and Kobe Bryant. Now, Michael and LeBron, they're close. They're close. It is also based on what you consider to be the most important uh, characteristics, factors. Michael is the GOAT over LeBron for me because of how much he won. LeBron is goated because of what he's achieved and what he's done and what he's been able to sustain. The level of mastery he's been able to sustain is insane. But he hasn't won that much. You know what I mean? I think there is an argument to be made considering he won in three different places. I mean, I'm not going to take anything away from the LA championship. I know that some would, and I would have loved it if it wasn't in a bubble, but it is what it is. They won. They won the games that they won. But Jordan, he just dominated. You just couldn't get past them. Now, was his team really good too? Did he have an Hall of Fame coach? There's some things if you want to take away from Jordan, but I'm not going to. I think Jordan, LeBron, Kobe, period. And it is what it is. I also think that it's One Piece, Bleach, and then Naruto. This is for the anime fans. So people are like, what? What are you talking about? I don't know any of those players. I don't know any of those teams. One Piece is clearly the best. And then it goes Bleach and then Naruto. Now, here's the deal. Bleach and Naruto, they kind of flip-flop for me all the time because they're both really, really good. But for me personally, nothing there's nothing like the first two arcs of I mean, I guess they only did two arcs. The first two arcs of Bleach. Soul Society, come on. Bankai, come on. Are you kidding me? The 13 captains, come on. Come on. It's almost like if you can go back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. Naruto has this, Bleach has it. There's nothing that Naruto has that Bleach doesn't have. So for me, I think Bleach is a little bit better. I will say this: the world building in Naruto is top tier, but just the characters, man, the characters and the depth of the characters, and just how amazing the concept for Soul Society and just Shinigami was amazing, amazing, amazing. One Piece, Bleach, Naruto. Here's another thing. I got hot takes for days, people. Um, I am team Kanye and Kim. Was it Kim Ye over Pete and Kim all day long, all day long, for serious reasons and for silly reasons. I, I'm not gonna talk about any serious reasons, but I just think they're a better couple. You know, makes me sad that they're not together. They seem like they were meant for each other. They seem like they could be the ones that like finally solve the mystery of their love lives. But I guess not. How does someone stay together in like when you're like that famous and that rich? It's just like everywhere you go, people are like trying to break you up. Everyone's got a hot take on your partner. Everyone sees everything that they do, them at their best, them at their worst. It's tough, man. It's tough. That's why I root for people. That's why I root for celebrities. It makes me sad that none of them can stay together, you know? It's like you got to choose. Either you're going to be famous and have multiple relationships or, you know, you're not. Is there any couple that stayed together? Oprah did it. Will, I don't know how much longer Will and Jada are going to make it. That makes me sad. I was always so happy. I thought that that's another couple, kind of like Brad and Angelina. You just felt like, oh man, they get it. They get each other. Nope. But I think the problem is maybe they did get each other. And then, people grow. That's the thing about marriage. It's like it has to be dynamic. It has to be moving. It has to be living. It's not like something that you can have a great marriage 20 years and then it's just 20 years ago and it's going to just stay. It has to keep moving with you. It has to keep being a priority. I think that sometimes people put their marriage off. You know what I mean? Like, oh, and I think that it can be tolerated or done, if you're both working towards a goal. Like, okay, right now I know that this person needs to focus on this. So I know that the marriage isn't going to be as important right now. But it has to be like a set parameter. Like Tim Keller talks about, like when he first moved to New York, he had to prioritize building the church, and it was a set time. And so I think that this it's doable, but man, it always has to be like a set time. You cannot sustain it as a secondary thing. But it's hard. Period. So, like I said, like I said, so like we always do, I like to end the stream with some live tweets. And I realize I wonder how this feels for for people who are listening on the podcast. Let me know if you're listening on the podcast, and when we get to the parts on the Twitter reactions, how was that? I mean, I'm still talking you through it, and I generally read the tweets, so I wonder. I'm sure it would be better if you could see the tweets, but I think it's still, I think it still plays. But let me know. I'm curious. I'm curious. And also, this doesn't matter to you podcasters, but for you online watching me read, I am reading, so I'm not going to be looking up. So we're going to start with the homie Rachel. It was I can't even pronounce that. Um, the Guild of Music Supervisors tonight at 6 p.m. It's a deadline to submit your project. Submit your best. Award shows make me laugh. They're so silly. They're just so silly. They're so unnecessary. Oh man, this is one of the coldest. So I'm looking at a panel of Luffy stopping Don Flamingo from like stomping out Law. Oh my goodness. It's just kind of I don't understand how Luffy, it's like he beats people that are at a level that seem to me to be above certain levels. Like I I felt like Don Flamingo was like very high up there, and he still lost to Luffy. I felt like Don Flamingo was better than Katakuri, but like they say, style makes fights. So maybe you know matchups make fights. I think is what the actual expression. 2022 won't change the fact that MMA will still remain mid. I don't know how people can say My Hero is mid, especially if you've read any of the manga. Now here's the thing about it. You know what I mean? Like I think one of the problems with anime and anime fan bases is that there's like this sense we go around with like this sense that like everybody has the same taste for anime, and we don't. I'm a shonen guy. Give me shonen all day. Give me battle all day. Every now and then I like to think about stuff, but most of the time I just want to see action and have fun. Every now and then I can do an erased. Every now and then I can do a lane. But for the most part, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't need all that. I don't need all of that. That definitely for sure. That guy, oh, can't stand him. Can't stand him. Short, short anime characters that can kick your butt. Luffy's short? I guess he is. All the people that are by him is better. Who do we got on this list? Kaneki, uh, Eren, no, Levi, Gon, Killua for sure. Hiei. Man, I just can't stand how they do my man Vegeta. You know what I mean? Vegeta deserves a dub. All right. This man has been taking L's for like a quarter of a century. It's awful. How long has Dragon Ball been out? It's been out for like 20 years, right? At least 20 years. Let me Google that really quick. I'm going to Google it. Type in the comment section how long you think Dragon Ball Z has been around. Dragon Ball Z. Do 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 do. Dragon Ball Z. Getting that wiki. 86. Yeah. Yeah. So he's been taking L's for over 25 years. My heart goes out to Vegeta. I mean, they just won't give my man a dub. Give my man a dub. 5 years ago today. Oh, that guy. My heart breaks for him, man, because I just feel like he was so close to winning. I was actually there the first loss he had to who was the guy who got cheated? Oh my gosh. Dillashaw, TJ Dillashaw. I was there for that first fight. He almost had TJ Dillashaw out. He just got sloppy and he got caught. And I think ever since that fight, he's never been the same. It's just been a slow decline. And that's tough, man. Fighting is tough. Those I think fighters should get paid way more. I know some people are like, oh man, they get paid a lot. Yeah, well, I think they should get paid more. And it's not hard for me. Fire users are some of the most, yes. Fire, I mean, I don't know. I just think people like fire. It's dope. It's like it's kind of hard to mess up fire. You know what I mean? It looks dope in anime. I can't tell if this is supposed to be like Shinra. I don't know how they can have a I don't know how they can make a list and not have a character from Fire Force. Let me click on and see if it's yeah, it looks like Fire Force. I don't know what's going on in my backyard, but there is like a squirrel party. Like 10 squirrels just living their best life, running around, running on fences, digging in the grass for something. Okay, something from Sean Hannity. Hillary resurfaces to take shots at progressives, talks Trump. I mean, come on, man. Why I got to find that? Use this photo. Awful. Joe's pages. I wonder if Joe's responsible for that. Gary Vaynerchuk. Gary has a lot of hidden wallets, so more than likely, yes. I guess that was in response to something. I don't have any hidden wallets. I have Gary V and Jen Andy, the end, period. Hmm. It's funny how these people can make extraordinary claims to slander you with no evidence and still keep their credibility. I guess he does have a check mark. I tell you what, man, I am not here for the NFTs. I mean, I support NFTs, and I'm like, I hope that it works because I really think that it could change the music industry. But me personally, I'm not putting a dime into NFTs, and that's with the full understanding that it could blow up, and it could be the thing. But I'm not touching it. Oh, here we go. This is great. I am so excited about this. So the Louisiana judge that said the N word and called black people or she said the black people were like roaches, but apparently she was on some kind of sleeping medicine. I didn't know that sleeping medicine made you say racist things. I've seen some of the side effects. I've yet to see could make you say the N word, could make you call black people roach or compare black people to roaches. Haven't seen it. If you see that on a bottle, please take a photo of it and send it to me because we got to get the word out that these medicines are causing people to say racist things. I think that's what Roseanne was the first person to try that. Nope. Let me tell you something. If it's not in there being your heart, it's not going to come out. Okay? Not going to take some kind of medication and then suddenly be like, oh my God, I love the Green Bay Packers. All right? That's not how it works. Whatever you feel inside that heart of yours, it's going to come out. If you, in fact, were even taking medication, which I don't believe she was, which means you have a lying judge. They got to do something about these judges. I'm happy that we're finally starting to see accountability for these judges because these judges are out of control. Some of these judges are out of control. I should say that. Not all judges. In fact, there's some very good judges. In fact, I saw one in the Ahmaud Arbery case. I thought he did a great job because even when he was upset with the attorneys that were saying crazy stuff, he still kept his composure. He still had the demeanor that befit the being a judge, the role, the seat, the bench, I believe is how you say it. That was the word I was looking for. So she's gone. Good riddance. I hope she doesn't get a job anywhere else, anywhere near anybody. And while I appreciate this, I hope they go back and relook at all the cases that she was over. And I don't mean I mean word for word. Look at what she said to those defendants or people being prosecuted or whatever, word for word, and do it under the lens of her current um, statements that she made. Believe it or not, Titanic was released 25 years ago. And if only she'd made a little more room on the door, Leonardo. That is a hot take, man. That is a scorching hot take. But I mean, I feel like everyone's kind of like, there was tons of room on that door, just move over a little bit. It was kind of like she didn't want to make room. It's messed up. It's messed up. Unvaccinated Kirk Cousins tests positive for COVID-19 months after complaining plexiglass forgery. So look, I'm not going to come down hard on anybody who's unvaccinated with Omicron because it's just crazy. I hope that he doesn't get too sick. I think he should get vaccinated, but everybody's getting Omicron right now. So I don't really see the need to like point out. Not now, and not while we're going through like the heat of it. After we get control of this. Now, one thing I think it's important that we do, that I hope that they're going to do, is see how different areas come out of it and how long it takes them to come out of it and how bad it gets for them. Right now it's going crazy in New York, it's heating up in Florida. Let's see how long it takes each state to come out of it. Let's see how bad it gets for each state. Then we can talk about that. We can discuss that. But right now, I'm not here for the jabs. I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it. It's not doing anything. Final countdown in NYC. Oh, that's right. He's gone. He's gone tomorrow. Man, I don't know. I thought he did a good job. I felt safe. I felt like New York City was an okay place. I don't know why he gets such. I mean, it's not. There's a lot of people that don't like him, so he has to do something. I just this right here. New York is pressing ahead with Times Square New Year's bash despite Omicron surge. I don't think he can justify it. Next up in the queue, 22. I'm gonna give that a retweet. Give that a retweet. Oh, that's sad. Betty White. It makes me sad, man. But I shouldn't really be sad. I should be happy. I'm sad that she didn't make it to her 100th birthday, but I'm just like, she had a great life. We should all be so lucky. We should all be so blessed and fortunate. So, but it's never a good time for someone to pass. All right. I don't think we've made it quite to an hour, but was a long stream. So again, I want to thank everybody that stopped by for this stream. I think not just today, but throughout the year. I'm really, really looking forward to moving into 2022 because we're going to get the studio built out and, have some guests. I got some podcasts that I'm recording here in Orlando that I can't wait to share with you because there's a lot of cool people with a lot of great things to say. So have a very, very safe first and healthy, happy new year. I'm wishing love, joy, and blessings on everybody for 2022. I think what's important is that we focus on a balanced life. Let's try to be balanced. Let's try to have a little more empathy for people, a little bit more patience, and a little bit more grace. I know I'm going to do that. And let's try to support each other. You know, this has been a traumatic experience for all of us. And no matter how we deal with it, how we're dealing with it, we're all just trying to deal with the trauma that it's caused, whether that's denial or whether that's running from it, whether that's hiding from it, whether it's just being normal, whatever it is. Let's just try to have empathy and remember that we're all going through a difficult time. But I'm hoping and I'm praying that 2022 will be the best year for you yet. So until next year, have a great day, have a great weekend, and Happy New Year's from the Casual Brand and the Casual Brian.